today with the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie today. A man from Hawthorne appeared in court in downtown L.A. He is accused of sending a ransom demand to the family. We can tell you there have been several new developments today. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Kathy Varr. We want to get right to those new developments. We're going to check in with investigative reporter Eric Leonard. You've been covering this case since it first broke Saturday.
Yeah, today is really, I think, the first day where we've seen what appears to be some significant progress in the case in two different places. The first is one of the television stations in Tucson, one of the stations that received one of these first mysterious possible ransom demands, received another communication, another electronic message that the authorities there, both the FBI and the Sheriff's Department, have said they want to investigate and examine the wording, the sourcing, and possibly some other material that came with it. I was just going through some of the reporting from Tucson, the station that received it, some of the employees who looked at it. They characterized it as not a ransom demand, but for whatever other reason, this is apparently, they believe, sent from the same source as the original one. Now, keep in mind, as we've been reporting on this all week long, the FBI, which is looking at these potential ransom demands, has not yet said that they know for certain these are legitimate. But they do know that the form of the notes, some of the specifics in there, have caused them great concern. And that's why they're treating them as if they are real.
Well, it's been so unusual because when you have like a ransom note, you would expect that they would communicate with you. Yet the family's coming out saying, you know, please talk to us.
That's right, because the first message and possibly the second one included no method of responding. There was a Bitcoin address to send money, and there was a demand for a specific amount, and then nothing else. And so part of the reason we saw the Guthrie family making those pleas on social media was to try to draw out and begin some kind of a dialogue with whoever this is, if it is for real.
We know these notes, again, the FBI is checking to see if they are legitimate. There are deadlines set up in there. You are familiar with what these notes say. Is there anything else we can glean from that?
Well, I think the notes are interesting for every reason. So, you know, put aside for a moment the terror they are causing the Guthrie family. The way they're written is interesting and unusual. The language that we were made familiar with is just very precise. It's very cold and very ominous. It lays out this deadline. Do this by 5 p.m. Thursday. If not Thursday, do this by 5 p.m. on Monday, February 9th. And the consequence of not sending the money that's threatened in the note, as you can imagine, is pretty terrible. But it has to be based on what was seen in this second message today, either similar phrasing or the voice of the note, for lack of a better term, that has given the FBI reason to believe somehow these two things are related.
Because we have had a hoax we've investigated.
Right. As you mentioned at the top of the show, in court today, in federal court, was this man from Southern California who's facing criminal charges in Arizona for allegedly sending a hoax threat. The feds were, I think, relieved that they were able to very quickly rule this one out as not real. But that only increases the mystery of these others.
Eric Leonard, thank you for that. We're going to ask you to stay with us.
Sure thing.
We have a team of reporters covering this. Our Robert Kovacik is in Tucson, Arizona. The other big development today, Robert, had to do with a car or a possible car that they're investigating at the Circle K?
And that's really all we know at this hour, Colleen, but it certainly gained interest. We have other media that have joined us here at the Circle K. Now, why this Circle K is relevant is that NBC News has learned that there was a report that a car or cars that possibly may have been involved in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie were spotted at this Circle K lot. So this is the Circle K lot, and as you take a look here, just to get a perspective here, we are in the suburbs of Tucson. We are about exactly 6 minutes a drive from here to the home of Nancy Guthrie. And I want to show you some video that we shot when we arrived here. In that video, you will see two white vehicles. Those were driven by Pima County Sheriff's deputies who did not want to volunteer any information as far as what they were doing here, but they quickly wrapped up their investigation and they did leave. There were no actual cars here that we believe were part of the investigation. But again, officials have not said if any vehicle that has been spotted here has been definitively connected to any part of the crime, and they don't even know if that is still a lead anymore, Colleen and Kathy, but they are still looking at everything. Circle K explaining to NBC News in a statement, and I'm quoting here, that they received a tip regarding a vehicle of interest, and our team provided the Pima County Sheriff's Department and investigators access to Circle K's surveillance video. So we can make a presumption that they have the video or they have seen the video, and what happens next, we just don't know. But there are a couple of things that we can confirm to you since we have been here. We have been told by our NBC team that has been on the ground since the hours after Nancy Guthrie disappeared that they have been thoroughly canvassing this area, and no sooner did we arrive in the neighborhood of where Nancy Guthrie lives, again, just a stone's throw from where I am standing, then we saw sheriff's deputies out there going door to door, knocking on doors, and I asked one of the sheriff's deputies, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "We're back. We are back asking if anyone has any information, if anyone has any photographs, if anyone has any surveillance video to share with us." Neighbors who live nearby, one of them who lives very close to Nancy Guthrie, explained to us that it's very tricky in that neighborhood, in the Catalina foothills as they are called, because all of the electricity and the power poles are underground. The streets, he explained, and others explained, very, very, very dark at night. Long driveways, even if you have security videos that often so many people do on their porches, it's going to be very hard for those videos to capture anything that could have been seen on the streets in the hours after Nancy Guthrie had reported to have disappeared. But I will say, Colleen and Kathy, what we have seen from the neighbors in that area, just nothing but absolute cooperation and nothing but absolute concern for the safe return of Nancy Guthrie.